Traditional Indian biryanis are cooked in what's called the dom method, in which the pot is sealed with dough to trap the steam. Many restaurants don't bother with this. They use a pressure cooker, as I'm showing here. In restaurants outside of India, pork biryani is often just some fried pork stirred in with vegetable biryani to satisfy the occasional order. Pork biryani makes a great dish to have with other Indian curries when it's actually made well, and this recipe will not disappoint.
I assembled the spices here so you can see what they look like laid out before they're ground. I've got coarse salt because this will assist in the grinding process itself. The muscovado, sugar, caraway seeds, amchur, nutmeg. I'm using ground nutmeg in this case, a piece of cinnamon, cloves, cardamom, green cardamom that is, coriander seeds, and one brown cardamom pod, and some black peppercorns. Also, we need a couple of red chilies. I'm using the one that I dried myself. This is much larger than the ones you usually buy, so use some judgment. If you've got a huge one that you dried yourself, use one. If you're using the little ones that you buy that don't have much flavor, then use 2 or 3. Unlike most times when you're grinding spices, we're not actually going for complete powder here. We want to break these up, but we don't want to turn it into complete powder. So you have to use some care. Pulse it. This is good. It's coarse. Okay, I don't care what other recipes tell you, do not use garlic ginger paste. Grate your ginger fresh, chop your garlic. One of the other reasons why is that we want this garlic to still have some size pieces in it. We don't want it to be complete puree because it'll burn that way. We want it to have some pieces. It's going to cook for a long time. We also have the green chilies. Now you can remove the stems, the seeds and the membranes from this if you don't want it as hot. If you want it really hot, use the whole thing. But these need to be chopped up. So I've got the green chilies, the garlic, and the ginger in there. I added the yogurt. Do not use non-fat yogurt. Here's the coarsely ground spices. And we're going to stir this together to make the marinade for the pork. Once you have this stirred together into a paste, we're going to add the pork that's been cubed up. Now you can use a spoon to mix it, but it's really not nearly as good as your hands. You really want to get the spices really worked into the meat, massage it in. You will get the best results this way. I know a lot of people are squeamish about touching raw meat, especially pork. Just wash your hands afterwards, it'll be fine. But give it a really good squeeze through all the spices. And then we're going to cover it up in cling film and let it refrigerate for at least 3 or 4 hours, up to overnight. Don't go crazy though. Don't let it refrigerate for 2 days or something. It'll just be nasty mush. But you really want to work these seasonings into the meat. I have the ingredients assembled to begin producing this. We've got cilantro and mint. I just chopped it up and mixed it together. I've got hot milk here. I'm going to add the saffron to it, let it begin to bloom. These are the cherry tomatoes. This is the ghee. And here we have the marinated pork. It's been in the refrigerator for about 5 hours now. Some water that's coming to a boil now. I'm adding a tablespoon of salt to 1 liter of water. And I'm going to drain this rice off and put it in once the water actually comes to a boil, and also put your 2 bay leaves in the water as it comes to a boil to get that started. Now we're going to begin cooking the pork in the ghee. The pan is hot. Add the ghee to it. And I'm going to cook this pork. After about 3 minutes, by the way, I have this on 7 out of 1 to 10, so it's a medium-high heat. After about 3 minutes here, I'm going to add the cherry tomatoes. Continue cooking it. It's been another couple of minutes. Now what I've done is I've turned the heat way down to 2 to slow this down, and we're going to begin cooking the rice. We just want to keep this warm, basically. Okay, our water is at a boil. This is the rice that was soaked for an hour and then it was drained. And it's in there with the bay leaf, as you can see. We begin a timer now for 3 minutes. After it comes back to a boil, bring this up to a boil and then count 3 minutes. When the 3 minutes has elapsed, we're going to begin putting a little bit of this cilantro and mint down over the top of the meat, and then we're going to layer some rice over the top of this. More of the cilantro and mint. The bay leaf gets in there too. We'll remove the bay leaves later. Rest of the cilantro and mint. Yeah, making an art project here, you know, if it's not exactly even on top, it ain't going to make any difference time it's actually done cooking. And also, if you get some of the water from the rice in here, don't worry about that either, because it needs some moisture to cook, and we can blow off any extra water at the end just by leaving it on a simmer if we need to. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now we've got the saffron. The milk with the saffron we're going to add. Spots. Okay. Now the lid goes on the pressure cooker. Clamp it down. After about 5 or 6 minutes on a medium heat here, you'll begin to hear the sound of steam escaping, and you can check it by opening the valve a little, so you know that there's pressure there. So now I'm going to lower the heat down to 1.5. Out of 1 to 10, it's on 1.5, very, very low setting, and I begin the time of 40 minutes. The object during this period is to keep it just below the point where the pressure escapes. I'm going to open it up just a little bit to show you. It's full pressure, but not enough heat to actually break the pressure release point. And finally, the moment of truth comes. That looks great. Lift it up. And toss it a little bit and plate it up with some fresh cilantro.
Also look for my cocktail book, Cocktails of the South Pacific and Beyond, Advanced Mixology, available through Amazon online.